finished my degrees at Peabody Conservatory in Baltimore, Maryland.
Wow.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm one of the two Sarahs of the group. I come originally from Oberlin, Ohio. I'm sure many of you might be familiar with Oberlin College. But I didn't actually go to school there, I was just a townie and grew up there. I do come from a very big family of musicians, though. Both my parents are musicians, and all four of my siblings are musicians. 3 of them are professional musicians. So let's see, enough more about me. I went to school, I did my undergrad at Rice University in Houston, Texas. And then I recently finished my grad degree in December of 2016 at the Yale School of Music, where I met Barbara.
Hi, my name is Beatrice. I play the piano in the quintet, and I am coming from Italy, from Cremona. This is a very small city in the north side of Italy, and it's famous for the violin maker traditions, but I'm not playing any the instruments. And I started to play piano when I was 6 years old, and I went to the conservatoire in Italy and also in Switzerland, where I had my master's degree.
My name is Barbara. I play violin, and I am from the Czech Republic. And I went to school in Philadelphia at the Curtis Institute of Music, and then I went to Yale School of Music.
My name is Sarah. I'm the other Sarah. I play viola, and I am originally from the northern part of New Jersey, and then my family moved to Highland Park, Illinois, which is a town right outside of Chicago. And I grew up there. I got my bachelor's degree at the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York, and then I moved to Los Angeles to go to grad school at USC Thornton School of Music. I didn't meet Mia at USC, but we did meet in LA like years ago, just in the gigging scene. And yeah, that's where I live now in Los Angeles. I will just briefly tell you a little bit about Lincoln Center Stage and about how the 5 of us specifically got together. Lincoln Center in New York teamed up with Holland America to create Lincoln Center Stage, which are all piano quintets. They previously had the Adagio Duo, which was just 2 people, and they wanted something that was a little more of a serious classical music concert experience. So they teamed up with Lincoln Center. They have Lincoln Center Stage on, I think, 8 of the ships now. It is here on Amsterdam, on the Koningsdam, the Eurodam, the Westerdam, the New Amsterdam, the Zuiderdam, the Noordam, and it will be on the new Statendam when it comes out later this year. And we all auditioned individually. We submitted video recordings to be accepted for a live audition, and if we were accepted for a live audition, which we were, we all auditioned in different cities at different times. Some of us auditioned in New York, Berlin, London. They hold auditions really everywhere around the world to get some of the best classical musicians from all over. So we all did that. They had a first round where you play solo, and then if they liked you, they invited you for a second round callback, in which they put you together in a group of other people who were called back and saw how you played in a chamber music setting and how you worked with other people and played in a piano quintet. So where do I begin? Barbara, myself, and Beatrice were all put together a little over a year ago to have our first contract on the Koningsdam. And funnily enough, right after we left the Koningsdam, Sarah joined the Koningsdam. She had done a previous contract here on Amsterdam and then went to the Koningsdam after us. And Mia and I knew each other from LA years ago. Sarah and Barbara went to school together, and so we kind of all knew each other. Oh, and Mia goes to Barbara's music festival that she runs in Lake George, called Lake George Music Festival, every summer. It's amazing, you should go. And so Mia had been going to her festival for a few summers, and they had played together. So it was kind of funny how we all knew each other in different times and areas and locations, but the 5 of us had never all been together until we came here. And we kind of arranged that we wanted the 5 of us to play together for this contract, and we got to New York City December 4th or 5th and had 2 weeks of intensive all-day rehearsals in New York, and we boarded the ship on December 20th, and we've been here since, and we will be here until May 12th, which is a little longer than the groups usually are on the ship. It's usually 4-month contracts, but we wanted to be on extra long so we could spend more time in the Mediterranean. I think that's okay. So I think we can open it up to questions. If you just raise your hand, I'll call on you. Ask us anything.
Well, I'll ask something kind of politically correct, I hope. Have you all talked about maybe forming your own group and touring together or something like that? Notice I didn't say anything about Holland, America.
Hey, Sarah, repeat the question so people in the back can hear.
Oh yeah, he asked if we were planning on kind of forming our own group outside of Holland America and touring together and playing more together. I mean, we haven't really thought about it because we haven't been here for very long yet, and we all live in such different parts of the world. So there would be a lot of logistical stuff to kind of get us all together and do that, but it would be awesome. But we have a lot more time here to play together and really hone our sound as a group, and hopefully we won't hate each other by the end. I'm kidding, we definitely won't. We really love each other.
You all look really young. Could you give us just a general age range? You don't have to tell us your specific ages, but...
I'm the baby, and I'm 25.
But I'm the
no one,
oldest, and I'm 30.
so
There you go.
it's a very small window.
That's what we said on opposite sides. We're just the bookends.
So you don't know how old they are.
The music you play, is it prescribed by some higher power, or do you choose it yourselves?
Does it get higher than us? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, actually, all the programs except for the recital programs are done through a collaboration between Lincoln Center, and there's actually a middleman company that I think Sarah might have brought up earlier called RWS Entertainment Company, and that company is where we actually rehearse, and they're the ones who kind of tell us what the programs are. The programs are all decided by them, and I guess there's also somebody in Holland America, but I think primarily through Lincoln Center Stage and RWS, and they're all private contractors, either living in New York, or maybe they're pieces that have been out for, well, hundreds of years, like some of our masterworks. But yeah, so other than our recital programs, the recital programs we do ourselves, it's music that we like to play, but otherwise they are set for us. Yeah, question in the back?
You said that you all live in disparate places, so do you all get the music ahead of time and learn it independently and then meet up and you already know the music yourself, but you work on, you know, your internal timing and whatnot?
Right, yeah, so the question is if we have to work on our music ahead of time before the rehearsal period, and the answer is a definite yes. I think the amount of time they give us, 2 weeks to put together, I mean, I think we have a minimum of 12 shows, and that's not including our recital programs. It's quite intensive, and if you don't come prepared, you're going to be up to your eyeballs in work, other than the 8 hours of rehearsing you're doing every single day. And it's not just rehearsing, we also have to present a show every single day for the company. So we rehearse one show, and then the next day perform that show at the end of the day, but rehearse another show the next day. So it's just like a constant, the rehearsal period is fairly stressful.
I think what was great for us though is because the 4 of us have all done contracts before, there's a lot of music that was the same as from our previous contract, so we knew most of the music. There's a number of new programs that we had to learn, but I think Mia was the only one where the music was all new for her, and she just fit in with us as though she's been playing it forever. So I feel like the rehearsal process for our group specifically was fairly relaxed, in the sense that it wasn't new for everyone, and we could kind of focus more on the musicality and figure out bowings and phrasings and articulations, and more fun stuff.
I was extremely stressed out during that time. But these ladies make it so easy for me because they know it so well, because they're such wonderful musicians. It was just kind of like the last piece of the puzzle, just trying to lay low and not make too many mistakes and to fit in. But they made it really easy for me, so thank you. Question?
The pianos on the ship get an extensive workout. Is there a tuner on board, or do you pick a tuner up at the port of call?
There's a tuner that is coming every San Diego, so every week the piano will be done.
How do you decide who takes the solos or the lead parts? Is that dictated by the music, or do y'all decide among yourselves?
So the lead parts are actually, they're supposed to be assigned to us by the company, so they like to keep it half and half, so not one person is working harder than everybody else. But since Barbara and I have also done contracts before, we took those assignments but then also made our own decisions based off of who's played before, what do we want to play. And we also change up sometimes. We actually occasionally play the exact same parts, but we just like, oh, I don't really feel like doing this one. Can you want to do it today? So yeah, it's been a lot more relaxed, but actually they're usually assigned.
How much free time do you get every day? Is most of your time in rehearsal, or do you get some time off each day?
Actually, we have a lot of free time. Other than our concerts, if we're ready, we do rehearse if we have a recital coming up, or if there's a specific program that we haven't played in a while. I would say that our first few weeks on the ship, we still rehearsed. But I think especially since it's not our first contracts and we're really very familiar with the music and how the concerts work, we can go off at port every single day. We can do whatever we want during the day, and just as long as we're ready and prepared by call time before the shows. Now for my first, this is my third contract. For my first contract, we rehearsed almost every single day for the first 2 months. So it takes a lot of, I think it depends on the group and how comfortable we all are. But yeah, no, this has been a pretty, kind of a breezy contract. So. Yeah, person in the back.
Will you be moving to another ship after this contract, or re-signing, and will you stay as a group?
I think we haven't really talked about it yet because we're still in the beginning of our contract. But yeah, hopefully I think it'd be really fun. Yeah, there are some whispers. Yeah, some more contracts in the future. Yeah, I think the hardest thing is just dealing with the schedules because we have such very busy lives on land, and I think as someone mentioned earlier, we're so spread out. Like I'm right now based in Orlando, and yeah, some people are like all over the place. So yeah. Yep. Another question?
Are some of your concerts more difficult to put together as a group than others? Like the one last night sounded like it would be much more difficult to kind of coordinate than, let's say, the Bach performance or some of the more classical.
Are you speaking of the La Música Latina program?
Yeah.
I just mean, as a group, is it more difficult to put them together?
Yeah, there are definitely some pieces and some programs that are much more difficult. Last night in our Latina program, we played a piece called El Cumbanchero, which is very fast, and there's a lot of rhythmic offbeats and pizzicatos, and it just goes very, very quickly.
It seems like it would be more difficult to put that together as a group.
Totally. Yeah.
That's definitely what I mean. I think for me, I didn't feel comfortable with that piece for I think I just started feeling comfortable yesterday. Maybe probably knock on wood for that one. But I mean, as they said, they've played. Probably in the beginning it was the same for them, but I think at this point, you guys have played that piece in the hundreds, maybe 400 times. So it kind of becomes old hat. It just it's like riding a bike. Like once you do it once, you can just as many times as you need.
But some things like the Bach, I think, well, maybe it was most difficult for Beatrice, especially at the end of that first movement of the Bach Brandenburg. She has that insane cadenza, which of course she showed up to rehearsals and played it note perfectly. So that wasn't even an issue, and we just kind of ran through it, and we said, oh, do you want to start this part down bow, that part up bow? Yeah, okay, and then it was perfect. So stuff like that is much easier because Bach is a more simplified kind of structure, and you can hear when a cadence is going to happen, or you can kind of harmonically understand your part and how it fits in. So it's a lot easier, I think, to put together as an ensemble for sure.
Her solo in the Bach was really hard for me, actually, because it's 64 measures of rest. And so counting that was just the very first time I was like, oh my gosh, where am I 48? What number am I? But she plays it perfectly, so.
So, which of you or all of you, do any of you aspire to a career that is not chamber music, such as solo or orchestral? I think I heard Sarah, that you already have an orchestra job, and I just wanted to know what the rest of you are interested in. If it is chamber music, if this was a group that you wanted to keep together, would you be looking for management and get it, create a name and take the next steps when you're off the ship? Or do you think that the next step should be to do another tour just as you are?
The question is chamber music a career that we all would like to pursue on land? And if so, would we, as this specific quintet, are interested in management or competitions? I think I should also point out that this question came from Sarah's mother.
Yes, my family is on board. I'm sure you've met them. My mom and dad and grandma are all here. If they haven't spoken to you yet about how amazing we are, they will soon. They're wonderful. And they're musicians as well. I think that's how I ended up being a musician.
I mean, I can speak for myself. I love chamber music, and I think that's one of the reasons why I want this job was so attractive, is because it's really difficult to have a career in chamber music. It's not that lucrative. It's really hard to become one of the groups that is noticed and has a steady career. And so when this is offered to us, it's a very ideal situation. You get that right away. But I do feel like it depends on who you're playing with, and we really lucked out so much with the five of us and how much we get along and how much we love to spend time together on and off stage. So it would definitely, it seems the more we play that would be a great idea. But
we definitely all do have lives on land, and Barbara is constantly traveling and playing in orchestras and soloing with orchestras, and I know Mia, you sub sometimes with the LA Phil, which is amazing. And I think we all have such different lives on land that there would definitely be a lot of coordinating to kind of get ourselves and our schedules together. But it would be nice because we love each other so much.
Question. This is more of a comment than a question, actually. We sailed on the Koningsdam twice now, and it's a much larger venue, as some of you know, and was planned in with the ship. We had an opportunity to go on this cruise. We live in San Diego, and we looked at the Oosterdam, and we saw the Lincoln Center stage, and we said, we're going. And then we know this ship, but you do amazingly well projecting yourself, involving your audience, considering that it's long and narrow. You really, really do well, and you're to be complimented. And I hope to see some of you around.
Thank you very much. Question. So I know when I listen, Sarah, to your mom and dad perform and practice beforehand, I hear them say, well, let's do it this way. No, that should be slower. No, this should be faster. I wonder, when there's five of you, how do you resolve the way you might want to express a certain phrase or whatever?
That's a good question.
None of us are very stubborn, so when there could be a lot of ego bruising in chamber music. Sometimes people will refuse to do something just on principle. You say, hey, can you play this softer? And they're like, not gonna happen.
Also, I think maybe it's different when you're married to the person you're playing with, and you can argue with each other more easily. I'm talking about my mom and dad. But I think I had an experience, I was in another group where there were some bigger egos and more stubborn personalities, and it is much more difficult. I'm a very, very easygoing person, so I will not be, I won't try to engage in conflict, And so I'll always be very understanding, well, perhaps can we try it this way and blah, blah, blah. And when you're dealing with a person that is just like, no, like Mia was saying, then you just kind of have to let it go and you just have to swallow your pride and say, okay, I'll play it this way, or I'll do this, or I'll let you play it the way you want to play it, because
I do
that's
think
just
though
how it's
that
gonna
is
be.
probably not the number one cause for group tension.
Oh yeah.
In all of my past, I mean, it's hard to find. Something that I love about this group is that we all are pretty laid back, but we also bring a lot to the table, so we're actually coming prepared. But we're also very open to discussion, which I think takes a lot of time and experience to get to that level. And since I said this is my third contract, I had kind of a similar thing too as both of my previous contracts. There were a lot of egos, but also a lot of opinions. And they would think that their opinion was the only way. And I think as a professional, you have to learn how to just be like, how to see that and acknowledge it and just kind of back up. Otherwise, you're going to have some firings going on.
And I also recall in our rehearsal process, because of course we're 5 different people and we have 5 different opinions sometimes, where we would play something, let's say a certain phrase, and we would play it the way that each person said, oh, maybe can we try diminuendoing here? And so we'd play it that way, and another person would have said, oh, well, could we perhaps try crescendoing here, or starting an up bow, or starting a phrase down bow, or something, and we would try it and see what worked best for the group. And I even recall a few times when I was like, oh, can we try it this way? And we did it, and I said, you know what, that doesn't work for everyone, and we tried it another way, and I said, oh, your way is better. And I think it's just that all of us are so capable and willing to be so flexible with each other, and we just want to make what's best for our collective sound. And it's just more for the group than it is for your own individual.
Yeah, in the end, it's about the music and it's about the product,
100%.
not about the person's feeling because the audience doesn't.
I'm just laughing because the other day I remember Sarah came up to me and she was like, hey, in this piece in Latina, can you just play, I have a solo and can you just play a little softer? I was like, well, what part, can you sing it for me? And so she sang it and I was like, oh, I didn't even know you had that there. Oh no, I'm just blasting this like really unimportant cello note, just sitting on it. And so now every time I'm like, oh, I just have to tiptoe back. But it's usually a conversation like that, and none of us are very stubborn, and it works out.
Yeah, and no one gets offended. It's nothing personal ever. We never take anything personally, and I think that's the most important thing about playing chamber music, is that it has to be for the sake of the music at the end of the day. Oh my gosh, what time is it? Okay, we're going. Oh, okay, is it a quick question?
Do you ever have to write a part for one of you because it's not, the piece wasn't written for all 5 of your instruments, or 4 of your instruments? Do you have to
I think
write a part for, say, the piano or something, or
well,
write a part
fortunately,
for
the Lincoln Center hired the arrangers to do that for us.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to worry about any of that. They hire arrangers, you know, for Rhapsody in Blue. It's written for a huge orchestra and piano solo, and they arranged it for us, and certain jazz songs we do and stuff. So they really did an incredible job of hiring these people, and the people themselves did an amazing job of making these songs and pieces work for 5 people. And so they just give us the music, say, okay, this is the arrangement, and so we don't have to worry about it at all. It was really nice. Okay, we don't have time for any more questions, but we will, we're always in our green room after our shows, so you can feel free to stop us and ask us any more questions you would like after our show, but we have to tune, and we will be performing in about 5 minutes our recital program of different classical favorites. So we hope that you stay and listen. Thank you so much for joining us.